Today, I have a story for you, a tale of two runners, of their different outcomes, and what made the biggest difference. And this story is to underline the importance of tracking your response to sessions and doing the self-care that we recommend. So if you'd like to hear about how one runner could get a 90% improvement in just 3 sessions with us and another only 30%, then this video is for you. Hi, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, I'm Catherine. I'm the founder and principal therapist of LSM Clinic. And in this channel, I share information about how the body works and self-care tips so that you can enjoy your favorite activities and live your life pain-free or as close to it as possible. Now, I always say that we work in partnership with our clients, right? We show up and do our part and you show up and do your part, and then we have the best results. And I want to be really clear. I would never, ever, ever judge or shame any of my clients for not being able to keep up with their self-care. I know that life is busy. We have a lot going on. It can be hard to remember, right? And we will be here to support you. But the reason that I wanted to share this story is because a lot of times people are asking, like, how much improvement can I actually get if I have a few sessions with you? And it's very hard for us to answer that because it's very dependent on what you do in between your sessions with us. So when this happened at the clinic about the same time with our massage therapist, Leyton, I thought it was a really good example. Now, to be clear, I'm changing some of the details, not the pertinent ones, but some of the details because we don't want to be able to identify the people in the story. But I thought it was a really, really good lesson for any of our clients or potential clients when you're thinking about how can I get the most benefit out of the money and time that I'm spending with my massage therapist. So basically what happened was we had 2 runners come in, and each of them had a similar problem. Okay, they weren't exactly the same, but it was a similar problem, and that was while they were running that they felt it. And so Leyton worked on both of them, explained things like glute activation and how to stretch effectively, and gave them homework and ask them to track how quickly things come back. Now, one of the reasons that we ask for tracking, we know that after one session, you're not going to get 100% improvement. By the time you've come to see us, you've almost always had this for a while. And as it's built up over time, it takes time to get it back to where it should be. So when you track, we can get a really good idea of what's aggravating it, what's making it worse, how much do we have to look at changing your day-to-day versus how much of it is probably historic and, you know, we don't have to give you so much home care to do because as long as we get it sorted out and you do a couple of tweaks, then you have an improvement, right? So after this first session, they both came back for follow-ups, and one client had tracked their progress and was able to tell Leyton how quickly their symptoms came back and what they noticed had made it worse or aggravated it, and had been following the self-care advice Leyton had given them. There was a significant improvement and they agreed to continue. The other client hadn't paid any attention to how they felt. I don't know why. I don't know if it was because they were busy or maybe they didn't understand how important tracking was for us, or life just happened, right? But they couldn't give any information. They just said, oh, it's come back. But they didn't say when it came back. They didn't say if it came back gradually or all at once. And Leyton was able to get some information, but not enough to really start figuring out what was going on. And this person had not done any of their self-care. Now, when somebody comes back and they haven't been able to do their homework, we usually have a conversation like, is home care just not something that's realistic for you? And we'll just accept that it's going to take longer for you to get the same result because you're not able to fit home care into your life. It's true for some people. Like, I've had clients who literally are working like 18 to 20 hours a day and they just fall into bed and they get up and go to work. Not the healthiest lifestyle, but no time for self-care. So we just work around that. And this client said that they would try to do the self-care and to track again between this and the next session. They had had an improvement, but it hadn't been very long-lived, and this client hadn't tracked how they felt or when it had come back exactly. And so then we come to the third session. Client number 1 has continued doing the self-care and tracking. And as of the third session, their problem was 90% better. 90% better. Whereas the other client who came back, their improvement was only 30 to 40% better when they walked in for that third appointment. They'd been better with their self-care than the first time, but not as consistent and hadn't really tracked. So this is just an example, right? So after 3 sessions, getting 90% improvement, and then we can start looking at other imbalances that might not be causing problems yet, but that could in future, and that by addressing them, you feel freer and lighter and more mobile. And when we don't have tracking and we don't have people doing their home care, we just make sure that we're both on the same page as to what's going on, and then we just keep working. Like, one of the things that I always say to clients is, if you come to me and you say you just don't have the space to do your self-care, you just don't have the space to do your maintenance and to do your tracking, that's totally fine, right? We are here to support you, just as long as you understand it does mean it's going to take longer to get the same results, right? Because it's really important to me and everyone at the clinic that you never feel like we're judging you because you can't get stuff done. The only thing that we might worry about or we might be concerned with is we will be aware that it's taking longer to make the same progress as if you were able to track and do the home care that we gave you. Because we don't want you to get frustrated with your progress. We don't want you to feel like, well, it's been 3 or 4 sessions and I'm not getting that much improvement. So that's why we really try to emphasize and make sure that we have open communication for this. So what happened in the end? So ultimately, we got client number 1 to a really great place. Client number 2 also ended up with some really good sustained improvement. It just took us a little bit longer to get there. So I hope that you've enjoyed this little client story showing a tale of 2 runners and the difference that you tracking and doing your self-care can make in your improvement when you're working with us. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.